holding their government accountable, regardless if they're red, blue, or whatever color they are. And we're actually talking about the issues that should be discussed with politics today. Welcome back to the Meta Perspective. I'm really excited about this show. We're doing 4 topics, 4 segments. Okay, so it's a little different than what we've done before. I want to welcome back Anthony Fior. I want to welcome Nick Crozier, and I want to welcome back Sean Delat. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you.
So we're going to let's start talking about government policy around housing, okay, specifically the Greenbelt Plan. So, Sean.
Yes.
Talk to me about the Greenbelt Plan and specifically around public policy with regards to housing. Can our government get it right?
That is the magic question. And so far, they have got it absolutely wrong. As far as it goes with the Greenbelt, I think there's still lots of opportunity where there's lots of lands that they do not need to dip into the Greenbelt.
Right.
As well, we do know there was a huge debacle, though, with our provincial government and the releasing of some lands. But again, don't feel that was completely necessary. If we talk about Niagara, we have ample amounts of land that is not being built on.
Okay.
Buildable land that's not being built on. And there's a whole bunch of other government factors that's why that's not happening.
So why wouldn't the government be addressing this specifically? Do you know? Like, what's your thought on that? What's your opinion, Anthony?
So I think the whole part of the Greenbelt Plan was to give a large amount of land to a select few developers. That's why they're in trouble. It's the best example of pay for play, bait and switch. There's a special prosecutor now. I'm excited to see how it unfolds. But to Sean's point, there's tons of land everywhere else that's not protected that needs to be built on. I love the concept of intensification. Municipalities need to get on board with building housing and not sprawling higher. And I'm not talking like Aura in downtown Toronto. There's medium density, which is a big factor. Boutique, walk-ups, they used to be very popular. We need to get back into actually building housing, and building it faster means more units. And more units, building higher, I think is the best way to go.
So kind of redefining the meaning of housing, really, is a way to go. Nick, what do you think?
I think a big thing is, it's the government at the end of the day. There's always an ulterior motive. So the way I look at it is like, if you really want to encourage developers, talk about the taxes, talk about the levies, talk about the building problems. Why does it take me 8 months to get a permit to knock down a house? What if I want to build, like we were talking in Toronto, laneway homes, building 4 or 5 duplex. It is harder to build a laneway home. It takes much more time, more permitting, more costs, more taxes than to even just put an extension on.
Right. So let me ask you this then. It sounds like you went into the whole nepotism thing. So does nepotism exist in government policy right now as it stands?
Since fruition. That's how our country was founded. How do you think we built the railway? Like, our country was founded on bribery. Yeah. But so there's a lot of nepotism to it, but there's a lot of NIMBYism to it. And I went and attended a fantastic debate about this last night, where I don't think we're seeing the benefits of what it means to intensify. But the federal government just got rid of GST on rentals. I think well, it already has. Look at what Brampton just announced, 20,000 units is great. Getting rid of development charges is bad for municipalities. So where the provincial government needs to play a part in this, the provincial government needs to come in and say, we'll get rid of the development charges, but we're going to help municipalities build the infrastructure. It does help developers. And I think that there's a lot of good faith people out there that want to build housing, but interest rates are a problem. And yes, I agree. There's development charges and there's levies that are huge problems. So there's going to have to be cooperation on all 3 levels of government to get it done.
100%.
I've got a stat for you guys. Okay, so by 2030, we're said to currently have a shortage of 3.5 million units.
I heard 4 million.
Oh, 4 million, 3.5. It's huge. Regardless, it's huge.
A lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. So like, Nick,
Even on top of that, it's like you're coming through, how can we house so many people? But it also comes from the center of immigration's great, but at the same time, we miscalculated by 1 million people this year. How many times are we going to miscalculate it? So you're
there's no miscalculation.
Well,
they're just letting more people in. Like
Well, I think so. It was interesting when we were it was because of student visas. I think everyone's seen about 900,000 are students that came into the country last year. But what happens with the Census Canada is they're not tracking it. They think that after 30 days, when they're done as a student, they leave.
Yes.
But that's not true. Now they apply for PR. Now they stay in the country. So all of that amount of students that are in the country now are not counted for. Well, they need places to live. They need things to go. They're coming out of school. Well, you want affordable housing. If they're not coming out making, I mean, in Toronto, what? I think they said the average household needs to make 140K to live now. They're not coming out of school making 140K. So where are they going to go live?
Yeah, so let's...
Tenants.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tenants.
So if you were in government, let's say...
Oh boy.
Oh, yes. If you were in government...
How did you know? No.
Tell me, what would you do? What would be a part of your housing plan? For
This would
government?
be a post-World War II building frenzy. Any way we can possibly build it is build it. And removing GST and PST, what we're leaving out is what's happening with land transfer tax. Does anyone know where that money actually goes? You can't find out where it actually goes. I would make land, so first of all, mine would be focused on actually getting people into houses. So getting rid of land transfer tax entirely for first-time home buyers, I don't think is a bad idea. There's going to be loopholes with that. We have to have legislation on how we fight the loopholes. But this has to be a post-World War II building frenzy. And it has to be, I don't care how it gets done, it's got to get done. There's a lot of red tape, there's environmental impact you got to think about, but this is all after the fact. I'm talking taxes, I'm talking levies. We have to make it affordable for developers. There's a lot of good faith builders out there, and that's where the partnerships need to be. Is how to make it good for everybody, but that would be mine. It's just build the damn housing.
So, okay, build housing. Would you close the borders?
Would I close the borders?
In a sense, not borders, sorry. Would you close immigration? Would you
Close-
tighten it up?
I would tighten it up. I would start to be far more selective in the people that are coming, because at the end of the day, we need trades to build all these properties. We're a
the
shortage
huge right now,
of
the
work.
shortage, yeah.
There's a shortage of work. We need people who will do the jobs to build these places. And again, we're talking Canada, but this is a global issue. Every single country in the world is in the same thing. Shortage of units, not a workforce to build them, same bull crap as far as the rules and regulations. They just can't get things done. So I think we need to be more selective of the people we let in the country.
Okay.
And I agree with with the other guys here, is the fact that the governments need to work together, all three levels, and the municipalities, first off, need to stop being assholes and start letting people, it's a nightmare. You want to build a garage on your property. It's taking a year. It's got to stop. Just stamp it and let them go. It's time to go.
Sounds like, though, if you know someone on the inside, you might be able to get that pushed through a little quicker.
But it's not even about knowing someone on the inside. Everyone should have this.
have to. You
Right,
shouldn't say,
agreed,
if I
but
have
this is
an
kind of
extra
back to what
backyard
we were
area,
talking
And I
about.
gotta be
throw in
honest
a
though,
lane
that knowing
lane.
someone on the inside,
still does- it still
it's
gets you 4 or 6 months,
It
like,
still is
it's
not
still-
helping. It doesn't make it different. Back in the day, sure, it was magic. I go in for my permit, you're coming out the next day with the permit, because the person you know. It's not like that still.
One last question on this specific topic. Okay, so obviously we have housing shortage. We have perhaps a plan, way to expand. How do we ensure that we don't have or eliminate nepotism and policy and everything? If you're gonna go post-World War II on building, how do you ensure that all of these people don't get their hands in the pot early and that it's done the right way?
That's impossible. Though.
Yeah.
That's impossible, because there's going to be deals made everywhere. And some municipalities are different than others. Not every municipality is Toronto, not every municipality is St. Catharines. But what you do is you find the best approach. So the best approach for downtown Toronto, there shouldn't be anything that's less than probably 5 units on every block. That's my opinion. Downtown St. Catharines might be different than that. I'm not suggesting we go and build the World Trade Center in downtown St. Catharines and have it all be housing units. That's not going to work. The infrastructure can't handle it, and it's not part of the sheer design. But a place like downtown Toronto, it should not even be negotiable. You're building towers. You're building it. That has to be it. And you need a government with I don't even want to say it. Are you allowed to swear on the show? You need a government with the balls to go in there and say, build high density.